In the headlines, PDP presidential candidate takes campaign to Borno, promises oil exploration and end to insecurity. Presidency commiserates with Bayelsa flood victims, dismisses calls for resignation of Humanitarian Affairs Minister. Ghana's inflation hits 40.4% highest rate in 2 decades. And on the international scene, French President Macron makes official the end of the Operation Barkhane in Sahel. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman. And we begin with politics, where People's Democratic Party presidential candidate and former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has promised to reactivate exploration of oil and gas, as well as end insecurity in the northeast and the country if elected president in 2023. Atiku made this promise during a campaign rally in Maiduguri on Wednesday. Beatrice Kuruti has more.
Gathered at the Ramat Square of Maiduguri Metropolis for the rally. Thousands that came for the presidential campaign rally include 2 governors, former governors, and key politicians of the PDP were present at the gathering. The party received over 5,000 defectors from the ruling APC party of Borno State. The campaigners wooed the crowd to support the Atiku and Okowa ticket during the ballot.
In southern Nigeria, both the southwest, the south-south, and the southeast, we are going to vote Atiku. I want to show to them that Nigerians are wiser. We cannot afford any more day after the 8 years of APC.
When he comes into power as president of this country, he will address the issues of insecurity, poverty, unemployment. His government will create jobs for the youth. Rest assured the people of Borno that Waziri Nadamawa is your son.
What PDP? All the women in Borno State, talk to your husbands, talk to your fathers, talk to your brothers, talk to your children.
We got information that they spent 5 billion naira to disrupt this rally. Our supporters coming across local governments were blocked on their way here. We now know that they are afraid of us. By Allah's grace, when we are elected into power, we will do everything to make Borno happy. We will scrap Botma and stop all unnecessary taxes. The People's Democratic Party's presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar said if elected, he promised to fulfill the Shehu of Borno's request of revisiting the oil exploration in Borno State, reactivating the Lake Chad Basin Authority, ending insecurity and restoring stable electric power in the state.
He requested that we should make sure the local governments are supplying power or electricity, which we promise we will do so. Again, he requested that we should reactivate the exploration of oil and gas in the Chad Basin, which we promise we are going to do that by the grace of God.
The PDP rally is happening across the northeast of the region to seek the support of the electorate ahead of the 2023 elections.
Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State says he and his allies are open to reconciliation with the leadership of the People's Democratic Party. Wike and his allies have been at loggerheads with the party after the Rivers leader lost the PDP presidential primary to Atiku Abubakar. They're demanding the resignation of Iyorchia Ayu as the national chairman of the PDP and have pulled out of the party's presidential campaign. Reconciliation moves have also failed. But speaking after 4 of his allies, better known as the G5, visited the Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed, Wike said they never closed the door for reconciliation.
The hallmark of what PDP stands for equity, fairness, and what? Justice. We have never closed the door, we will not close the door. All we are saying, look, let the right thing be done. If the right thing is done, you will see how the whole place will be, the whole country will know that the election is over. This is the bedrock of the party. This G5 you are saying, we are the bedrock of the party. So we will not close the door for reconciliation. We are open for reconciliation any day, anytime.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
And that is why the party invited me to go and discuss with the flag bearer of the PDP, our leader, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, and we discussed extensively, and I have gotten some explanations because the letter I wrote was not only written by me, it was written by the PDP family in Bauchi and the government of Bauchi, and that is why I was there and we discussed extensively. As for the G5 governors, I always joke with them that I am a G1, but I'm inexorably connected with them.
The presidency has said that scenes of flooding from Bayelsa State are deeply saddening, and the thoughts of the government are with the victims and those affected by the floods. The presidency, however, notes that calls from some quarters for the resignation of the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development are not appropriate. In a statement on Wednesday, presidential spokesman Garba Shehu stressed that almost every state in Nigeria has been affected by the floods, adding that the federal government is concerned about what has happened in Bayelsa as it is with respect to other states. He added that the government at the center will continue to do more for Bayelsa and for all states affected as more resources are made available to agencies handling the flood crisis. In another development, Niger Delta Development Commission has commenced repairs to restore vehicular movement on sections cut off by flood on the stretch from Rivers through Bayelsa to Delta State on the east-west road. Inspecting the restoration works at the failed stretch of Ihuike Ahoda East Local Government Area, Rivers State, NDDC Acting Managing Director Emmanuel Audu Ohabora said the intervention has restored the link between Rivers and Bayelsa States. The report.
The destruction of the section of the road by flood had in the past few days cut off access to some parts of Delta, Rivers and Bayelsa states. The east-west road for the emergency repairs include Ahoda in Rivers State, Bayama in Bayelsa State, and Patani in Delta State. Speaking during an inspection of the restoration work at Ihuiku community in Ahoda East Local Government Area of Rivers State, the NDDC Acting Managing Director said though the devastation is massive, he expects impressive progress by the contractors handling the repairs in the shortest possible time in the interest of the people of the Niger Delta region who have endured a lot of pains on account of the flood.
It's like a miracle has happened because look at it, now we are standing right where there was a huge lake, okay? They removed the median and the water flow increased and now they are able to access the site and we can see vehicles passing. There are about 2 more sections like this, the one at Mbiama and the one at Patani. Okay, hopefully they should finish here in a few days and move down there. The whole idea is to allow a continuous thoroughfare for our people.
The NDDC boss, while appreciating President Muhammadu Buhari for his prompt intervention, commended the project contractor on the progress of the rehabilitation work so far. He said the damage done by flood on the area is severe and huge, but assured that measures to make the road motorable in the shortest possible time would be taken.
The fact that we could get up to this point In just a few days, just about 3 days, they moved down here. That means they are actually serious with the job. I'm impressed. On behalf of the people of the Niger Delta region, it's good to have a president who listens, who hears your cry. And this actually is flowing from the fact that the president gave this order.
They have been putting a lot of pressure in order to make sure that this road will be motorable. The final construction stages will not be immediately applied now, because construction, and if you see the damages that has been encountered, it will require time to be arranged. But at least, and as per the directives of MD of NDDC and of Honorable Minister and of President, we will try our best in order to make this road motorable as soon as possible.
Even as the flood begins to recede in the state, Bayelsa residents are still struggling with the losses of lifetime savings of irreplaceable and priceless items washed away by the ravaging floods.
The Federal High Court in Abuja has fixed 15th of December 2022 for the hearing of a 100 billion naira suit filed against President Muhammadu Buhari over the alleged unlawful removal of Senator Ifeanyi Ararume as a non-executive chairman of the newly incorporated Nigeria National Petroleum Company. Senator Ararume is claiming the sum from the federal government as damages caused him in the alleged unlawful and unconstitutional way and manner by which he was removed as the NNPC chairman after using his name to incorporate the entity. At the hearing of the suit, Justice Inyang Edem Eko ordered that the Corporate Affairs Commission be joined as a party in the suit in the absence of an objection from Chris Uche, who represented Ararume, and Al-Hassan Shuaib, who represented President Buhari. Justice Eko subsequently fixed December 15th for further mention in the suit and ordered that the amended originating summons be served on parties before an adjourned date. You're watching Trust News Update. Coming up after the break, how traditional weaving is coping amidst low patronage. Do stay with us.
TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
That's great. It's good to see you.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. If you're just joining us, you're watching Trust News Update. Here's a recap of some of our top stories. We told you that PDP presidential candidate takes campaign to Borno, promises oil exploration and end to insecurity. We also told you that presidency commiserates with Bielsa flood victims, dismisses calls for resignation of Humanitarian Affairs Minister. Moving to security, bandits have kidnapped 20 children between the ages of 4 and 10 years in the Kusheki community of Rafi local government area of Niger State. The children abducted include 4 males and 16 females. Residents say the children have been in captivity for days and the bandits are demanding 40 million naira as ransom. Residents also say the parents of the children have been in trauma since the abduction, calling on the authorities to assist in rescuing them. The bandits had in the past few weeks returned to operations in Rafi and Magama axis, as well as Ngeru Tejina Road, putting fear to the minds of farmers who have just started harvesting their crops. Efforts to get the reaction of the Niger State government were unsuccessful as messages sent to the Commissioner for Internal Security and Humanitarian Affairs, Emmanuel Umar, were not replied. Still on security, bandits have killed 1 and abducted 2 children working on a farm at Tashargiwa in Batagarawa local government area of Katsina State. The bandits met the children working on a farm around 12:30 Wednesday afternoon and killed 1 when he resisted being kidnapped. The bandits are accusing farmers of breaching agreement of paying levy before evacuating their farm produce. The bandits have, however, threatened to kill anybody who attempts to evacuate their farm produce without consulting them. When contacted, the Katsina State Police Public Relations Officer, SP Gambo Isa, told Trust TV that they're investigating the attack. Local weaving, otherwise known as Saka, is one of the major occupations of the people of Warawa local government area of Kano State. This century-old tradition, which has been a source of livelihood for many, is being threatened by lack of patronage. In this report, Trust TV's correspondent Idris Zubrin visited Warawa and reports on how the locals are benefiting from the trade in the midst of dwindling patronage. His report.
Alhassan Maisaka is the head of local weavers in Warawa local government area. Over the years, he has remained regular in weaving traditional clothes, mostly used by traditional rulers across the Hausa land. We inherited this trade from our great-grandparents because no community will exist without 3 people: the religious leader, goldsmith, and a weaver. Unfortunately, Al-Hassan says he is wondering if he can continue with the trade given the current situation. Lack of patronage, the inadequate capital, among other challenges, seems to be threatening the very survival of local weaving in Warawa. There are a lot of challenges. Things are very expensive now. Materials we used to buy at 1,000 naira now cost almost 3,000 to 4,000 naira. So the whole thing is difficult for us. We can't get materials free. These people, who are also farmers, say the weaving is now done only on occasional basis. Honestly, government has never given us anything. For us, we are not getting any assistance from government. We are just on our own. They are not doing anything to us. We are just managing to see how we can be able to sustain the trade because it's like a tradition to us. There are actually many people who are benefiting from this trade, who often take time to teach their children in order to sustain the tradition. But the major problem is the fact that there are no facilities, which means whatever they do here, they say they are doing it on demand. Someone has to come and ask them that I need so design, then they design it for them. In the absence of customers, these people will actually be out of business. Idris Jubrin, Trust TV News, Kanu.
Improved welfare for officers and men of the Nigerian police will win the fight against corruption, crime and criminality in the country. This is the submission of Minister of Police Affairs Marguerite Ngyadi during the 2023 budget defense for his ministry and agencies under it before the National Assembly Joint Committee. The report.
The police team, led by the Minister of Police Affairs Muhammad Ngyadi and the Inspector General of Police Usman Alkali Baba. The minister gave a breakdown of the total proposed budget for the entire police force operations and agencies under it, which stands at 871,347,212,609 kobo. He said despite the huge budget of the police still need more funding to carry out its operations across the country.
The summary of the 2023 appropriation is Table 3. The main ministry has total budget of 3,553,059,805 naira. The formations and commands, that is for Nigerian Police Force, they are having 805,580,450,659 naira.
Before his submission, the co-chairman of the committee, Senator Hali Rujika, advised the minister to restrict his budget submission to just the 2023 budget to the entire police force and its subsidiaries.
The proceedings today is going to be very simple. We are going to listen to the minister to highlight the subheads of the budget for the press. You know that this is a security-related budget and it's sensitive.
When it was his turn, the Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika, announced that the country will soon have a functional national carrier.
Good Chairman and honored members of this August House, I am highly elated to inform you that the national carrier Nigeria Air is well on its way to be launched soon with a Boeing 737 in its fleet for the domestic operations.
In the meantime, House of Representatives Committee on Culture and Tourism has shelved the budget defense of the ministry and all agencies under its purview until an oversight of project executed under the 2022 Appropriation Act. The committee took this stand when it became apparent that none of the agencies that turned up for the budget defense on the first allotted day met the criteria set by it.
In business, Ghana's inflation rate climbed more than expected in October, raising pressure on the central bank to continue increasing borrowing costs that are already at a more than 5-year high. Annual inflation quickened to 40.4% in Africa's second largest gold producer, compared with 37.2% a month prior. Government statistician Samuel Kobina Anim told reporters Wednesday in the capital, Accra. That exceeded the median expectation of 39.5% of 3 economists in a Bloomberg survey. The agency last month changed its reference year to 2021 from 2018. The cedi has slumped 57% since January, the most among 148 currencies tracked by Bloomberg, while international commodity prices have surged, driving up the cost of imported goods. Headline inflation is now quadruple the top of the central bank's target band of 6% to 10%. On the foreign scene, French President Emmanuel Macron on Wednesday announced that the official end of the Barkhane operation in Mali. Macron also said the country's new roadmap on the African continent will be finalized within 6 months as part of a reorganization of its operations following tensions with the military junta in Bamako. Macron announced in 2021 a profound transformation of the French military presence in the region, which included the end of the Barkhane operation launched in 2014 and the basic pillar of the French strategy in a region marked in recent years by growing insecurity. Thus, Macron announced that a phase of exchanges will begin with African partners to determine the new status of Paris in the region, as well as the future activity of French missions in Africa. Still on the international scene, 8 Nigerian Americans were victorious in the United States midterm elections. In the state of Georgia, Segun Adeyina, Gabi Okoye, Solomon Adeshanya, Tish Negishe, and Phil Olaleye won their legislative seats as state representatives in their districts. Similarly, Carol Kazim won the Pennsylvania State Representative in District 159, while Esther Agbaje was re-elected as Minnesota State Representative in District 59B. Oye Owolewa was also re-elected to the U.S. House of Shadow Representative in Washington, D.C. President Muhammadu Buhari, who congratulated them on their victories, prayed for a successful tenure in office. He thanked them for their invaluable support and partnership over the years with groups affiliated with the ideals and objectives of Nigerians in diaspora associations in the United States. And with this, we've come to the end of Trust News Update. Don't forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman. Thanks for watching.